Hello everybody, and welcome back to the channel for this week's Toolbox safety topic video. Before we get started, make sure that you give me a thumbs up down below here to encourage me to make more videos of this type. Also, subscribe to my YouTube channel where you'll find additional videos of this nature along with other safety related videos and leadership training videos. Well, let's go ahead and get started with this week's Toolbox safety topic video. This week we'll be talking about working safely with scissor lifts. And I pulled this from the OSHA website, and it talks about specifics on what an employer is required to do to ensure the safety of personnel working from scissor lifts. However, if you're the competent person on the site, you are de facto, or in fact, the employer, and it is your duty to ensure that people are performing their work safely. So let's go ahead and get started with the Toolbox safety topic video. As scissor lifts provide a safe and reliable platform for workers to perform job tasks when used according to the manufacturer's instructions. When not used properly, scissor lifts can present a serious hazard to workers. Employers are responsible for keeping workers safe. This hazard alert highlights specific hazards present in workplaces where scissor lifts are used and controls employers must implement to prevent injuries or fatalities. As an introduction to this, scissor lifts are work platforms used to safely move workers vertically to different locations in a variety of industries, including construction, retail, entertainment, and manufacturing. Scissor lifts are different from aerial lifts because the lifting mechanism moves the work platform straight up and down using cross beams functioning in a scissor-like fashion. Although scissor lifts present hazards similar to scaffolding when extended and stationary, using scissor lifts safely depends on considering equipment capabilities, limitations, safe practices. Over a 1-year period, OSHA investigated 10 preventable fatalities and more than 20 preventable injuries resulting from a variety of incidents involving scissor lifts. OSHA's investigations found that most injuries and fatalities involving scissor lifts were a result of employers not addressing fall protection, stabilization, and positioning. Let's talk about how to safely use scissor lifts. Employers need to assess the work site to identify all possible hazards in order to select the appropriate equipment for the task. Employers who use scissor lifts need to evaluate and implement effective control that addresses fall protection, stabilization, and positioning. Only trained workers should be allowed to use scissor lifts, and employers should make sure that those workers show that they can use a scissor lift properly. Safe scissor lift use includes properly maintaining the equipment, following the manufacturer's instructions, providing workers training and needed personal protective equipment, and implementing safe work practices. Let's talk about the fall protection component. Scissor lifts must have guardrails installed to prevent workers from falling. This can be referenced in 29 CFR 1926 451G or 29 CFR 1910.29 A37. Employers should train workers to check to see that a guardrail system is in place before working on the scissor lift. Only stand on the work platforms and never stand on the guardrails. Keep work within easy reach to avoid leaning away from the scissor lift. Let's talk about the stabilization component. Employers should ensure that scissor lifts are stable and will not tip over or collapse. Some safe work practices to ensure safe, stable conditions for scissor lifts use include: employers should ensure that scissor lifts are stable and will not tip over or collapse. Some safe work practices to ensure safe, stable conditions for scissor lift use include: follow the manufacturer's instruction for safe movement. Now, this usually rules out moving the lift in an elevated position. Isolate the scissor lift or implement traffic control measures to ensure that other equipment cannot contact the scissor lift. Select work locations with firm, level surfaces away from hazards that can cause instability, such as drop-offs, holes, slopes, ramps, bumps, ground obstructions, or debris. Use the scissor lift outside only when weather conditions are good. Scissor lifts are rated for outdoor use, usually or generally are limited to wind speeds below 28 miles per hour. Although rare, the collapse of scissor lifts can be prevented if employers ensure the safety systems designed to stop collapsing are maintained and not bypassed. Never allow the weight on the work platform to exceed the manufacturer's load rating. Never allow equipment other than scissor mechanism to be used to raise the work platform. You've seen it, guys using a forklift to get a platform up, that kind of thing. We don't do that. Keep the lift from being struck by other moving equipment on the work site. Here's a cautionary tale. Wind can make extended scissor lifts unstable. During the fall 2010 college football season, a student who was also an employee of the University of Notre Dame was killed while filming the school's football team practice from a scissor lift. Reportedly, the untrained worker raised the lift over 39 feet to film the practice. The wind gusts that day were more than 50 miles per hour. The high winds blew the lift over, killing the worker. And then the final component we need to talk about is positioning. Positioning scissor lift to avoid crushing or electrocution hazards is important for safe use. Crushing hazards are present in workplaces using scissor lifts and may expose workers nearby, even though not working on the scissor lift. Scissor lifts present crushing hazards similar to vehicles or other mobile equipment at work site. Employers should train workers to be watchful when a moving scissor lift is near a fixed object, a moving vehicle and the scissor lift are operating closely, the scissor lift passes under a fixed object such as a door frame or support beam. Also, positioning the scissor lift to avoid electrocution, arc flash, and thermal burns is important for safely using scissor lifts near energized power lines. Since electricity can arc or jump from the power line to the scissor lift or worker, electrocution can occur if neither the scissor lift nor the worker touches the power line. Employers should use the following work practices to ensure that scissor lifts are safely positioned. Implement traffic control measures around the scissor lift to prevent other workers or vehicles from getting too close. Use ground guides when operating or moving the scissor lift around the workplace. Select work locations that do not approach electrical power sources such as power lines or transformers by at least 10 feet and that do not pose other overhead hazards such as other utilities, branches, overhangs, etc. If the job task requires work near an electrical source, ensure that the worker is qualified and has received the required electrical training. Another important factor is maintaining scissor lifts. Employers must regularly maintain scissor lifts to ensure that they are safe to use, such as prevent the lifting mechanism from collapsing. Manufacturers' maintenance and inspection instructions generally include how to test and inspect controls and components before each use. Ensure that guardrail systems are in good working condition. Verify that the brakes once set will hold the scissor lift in position. And then there's the training component. Employers must provide workers training on hazards, including how to work safely with or near scissor lifts. Training at a minimum must include manufacturer's instructions for operating the scissor lift vertically and while in transit, how to handle materials on the scissor lift, including weight limits, other worksite hazards workers may encounter when working on a scissor lift, such as contact with electrical wires, and also reporting any equipment defects or maintenance needs. Alright boys and girls, that's it for this week's Toolbox Safety Topic video. I'd like to thank you for stopping by and watching. Make sure that you give me a thumbs up down below here to encourage me to make more videos of this type. Also, subscribe to my YouTube channel where you'll find additional videos of this nature along with other safety related videos and leadership training videos. And until we see each other again, take care of yourself because you're number one. Look out for your co-workers and help ensure their safety. Have a grateful day, and remember, I will see you in the field. A member of if you've been now, if you're the competent person on a job site, scissor lifts work introduction into scissor lifts. Safe scissor lift use Safe scissor lift use Safe scissor lift use Safe scissor lift mighty. A moving scissor lift is manufacturer's maintenance inspection. Man, that was a long one, and I flubber-dubbed it up quite a bit. Well, if you got this far and it made any sense, thanks for watching. Oh, by the way, if you watch to the very end, down this way, I'll leave another Easter egg at the end. Anyway, thanks for watching, and have a grateful day. Stop.